My beloved child, pause before you answer that email, before you press send, before you commit your words to a path that cannot be easily unwritten. Feel the cursor waiting. Feel the heat in your chest, the ache in your jaw, the quickening pulse that says, hurry, prove, defend, secure your place. I know the urge that sweeps you into speed, the anxiety that whispers that a delayed reply is a diminished value, that a softer tone is a surrendered ground, that silence will be interpreted as incompetence. I do not shame you for feeling this. I know you more intimately than you know yourself, and I see the weight you carry when you believe your worth is measured in seconds and sentences. Yet I say to you now, out of love and not accusation, pause. Your pause is not procrastination, it is protection. Do you hear me? It is protection, for it is written, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10. Let that knowing settle into your bones like a steadying hand on your shoulder. Be still and let me distinguish for you the noise from the necessary, the reaction from the response, the fear from the wisdom that will guard you. I see what you cannot yet calculate. There are motives behind words that you cannot detect, implications in tone that extend like roots under the soil, unseen ears who will read what you send with stories you do not know. There are doors that will open with a single phrase and others that will close with a careless line. I am not late and I am not silent. I am here and I am speaking peace over the very moment that feels like a storm. For it is written, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts." Colossians 3:15. Let peace be the arbiter before you press send. Do not think that I am waiting for you to become perfect or unflappable before I guide you. I do not force you. I gently place before you an invitation. This pause is the doorway. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. Revelation 3:20. That door is not on your screen. It is within your heart. If anyone hears my voice and opens, I will enter this moment with you. I will sit with you over this draft. I will steady your breathing. I will place a guard over your mouth and your words. For it is written, "Set a guard, O Lord, over my mouth. Keep watch over the door of my lips." Psalm 141:3. I will keep watch over the door of your written words as well. I know the story you are telling yourself. If I do not reply now, I will lose ground. If I do not defend myself, I will be misused. If I do not control the narrative, I will be forgotten. My beloved child, you are not forgotten and you are not at the mercy of the clock on your wall. Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Hebrews 3:15. Soften instead. Loosen your grip. Breathe. In returning and rest, you will find the salvation of this moment. In quietness and trust, you will find its strength. For it is written, "In returning and rest you shall be saved. In quietness and in trust shall be your strength." Isaiah 30:15. Consider how often rushing has cost you. The apology you had to send after the email you fired like an arrow. The days you spent repairing trust that could have been preserved with a single pause. Do you see? A pause is not the absence of action. It is the presence of wisdom. When David was pressed by urgency, he did not sprint into battle without me. David inquired of the Lord, 2 Samuel 5:19, and his inquiring became his shield. Let your inquiring be your shield now. Ask me, wait for me. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. Proverbs 3:5-6. You feel the press to defend, to justify, to craft the perfect line that shields you from misunderstanding, but I am your defender. I do not enter your life as a judge in this instant. I enter as a healer and a keeper, patient, gentle, and full of hope. I am not taking opportunity from you by asking you to wait for one breath, one prayer, one stillness. I am giving you a safer path through this hallway of words. For it is written, "Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger." James 1:19. Be quick to hear me, be slow to type from anger, be slow to send from fear. My beloved child, I will never leave you nor forsake you in this decision. Hebrews 13:5. Even here, over this simple keystroke, I am near. Let the blinking cursor be a metronome of grace, counting a rhythm that brings you back to breath. Lift your eyes inwardly and whisper, "Speak, Lord." You do not need the entire map to move wisely. You need the next faithful step illuminated, for it is written, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." Psalm 119:105. A lamp does not flood the whole road. It reveals the next few steps. Let my word be your lamp now. I know the room you hope to protect, the reputation you fear to lose, the approval you strain to hold like water in your hands. But you are not sustained by approval. You are sustained by my breath in your lungs and my purpose over your life. I am not asking you to shrink. I am teaching you to stand on ground that will not collapse beneath you. Your pause is not procrastination, it is protection. It is me placing my hand on yours, steadying the send you will eventually choose, so that when you will speak from peace and not from panic, from integrity and not from image, from wisdom and not from weariness. So here is my invitation, consent-based and clear. Close your eyes for a moment. Inhale slowly. Exhale the rush. Say within, "Here I am." Let me reframe this moment before you move. I am at the threshold with you. I am the keeper of your steps and the guardian of your words. And when you open your eyes, you will find that nothing essential was lost in the waiting and much was gained. Clarity, gentleness, strength. Then, and only then, press send if peace remains. If it does not, wait again. I will not waste your waiting. I am leading you into peace, integrity, and purpose, one guarded pause at a time. My beloved child, now that you have paused with me, learn the music of this moment. The noise at work is not the same as my voice. Many sounds crowd you, deadlines that throb like drums, expectations that clamor like a crowd, your own unhealed fears that chant for control. But my voice does not join the stampede. It steadies your steps with clarity and peace, even when it is firm, even when it asks for courage. For it is written, God is not a God of confusion, but of peace. 1 Corinthians 14:33. And again, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. John 10:27. Hear me. My voice will not bully you. My voice will steady you. Do you feel the difference? Urgency shoves. Wisdom shepherds. Fear shouts. Truth speaks with authority without raising its volume. Ego performs. Love serves. People-pleasing twists your gut. Obedience frees your breath. Burnout demands you to keep producing. Grace invites you to be restored. These lesser voices are loud precisely because they are insecure, because they cannot create peace, only pressure, and so they must clatter, threaten, seduce. But I do not threaten or seduce. I invite and I guide. Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Hebrews 3:15. Let your heart soften to the tone that does not panic you into motion, but strengthens you into clarity. Ask yourself now, in the stillness you have made with me, what is driving your hand right now? Wisdom or panic? Peace or the need to control? Love for truth or fear of man? For it is written, the fear of man lays a snare. Proverbs 29:25. What fruit will your next sentence bear? Reconciliation or retaliation? Light or smoke? Do you see how these questions do not condemn you but free you? I am not searching for a reason to disqualify you. I am illuminating the path that keeps you whole. For the wisdom that is from above bears its own signature, pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits, impartial and sincere. James 3:17. When you sense this constellation, purity, peace, gentleness, reasonableness, know that you are hearing me. Here is a simple test for this very moment, a guard for your heart and your work. If the path in front of you requires you to betray your integrity, abandon your health, or silence your conscience, it is not my leading. I do not lead through self-betrayal. I lead through truth. I do not call you to burn what I created good in you to keep someone else warm. I call you to offer love without lying about who you are. For it is written, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts." Colossians 3:15. Let peace be the arbiter. And again, whatever does not proceed from faith is sin. Romans 14:23. If you must smother faith to move forward, step back. I will show you another way. Consider how I spoke to Elijah, weary and frayed by the thunder of threats. The wind tore the mountains, the earthquake shook the ground, the fire blazed. But I was not in the wind, nor in the earthquake, nor in the fire. I came in a low whisper. 1 Kings 19:11-12. Do you see? Noise and spectacle are not proof of my presence. The whisper is not weak, it is precise. It does not compete with the storm, it outlasts it. So do not equate volume with authority. My authority is a stillness that stands when the noise wears itself out. When I ask you to be firm, it will be with a love that refuses to join the escalation, with a truth that does not need to shout to be sure. Speaking the truth in love is the way of my voice, Ephesians 4:15. You say, but this situation is urgent. If I wait, I will lose the moment. Hear me. Urgency is not always unholy, but holy urgency carries peace with it. It does not trample your soul in the name of saving your skin. It does not force you to sacrifice honesty to keep influence. It does not require you to numb your body to meet a demand I did not place on you. If the only way forward is to fracture yourself, then that road is not mine. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. Lamps do not panic, they do not sprint, they illuminate step by step. I will show you enough to take the next faithful step without abandoning yourself. So, test the spirit of this impulse. Hold it up to light. Ask, does this choice align with truth I have already revealed? Or does it require a convenient forgetfulness? Does it produce confusion, frenzy, and the need to rehearse a defense? Or does it yield a quiet courage and a settled center? For it is written, test everything, hold fast what is good. 1 Thessalonians 5:21. And again, your ears shall hear a word behind you, saying, this is the way, walk in it, when you turn to the right or when you turn to the left. Isaiah 30:21. My guidance may tell you, not yet, or speak now gently, or change that sentence, or take the call instead of the email. But whichever it is, the hallmark remains, peace that steadies, not pressure that splinters. My beloved child, do not interpret your difficulty in hearing as evidence of my absence or your rejection. You are not rejected, you are tired. The noise has been relentless, the calendar unkind, the expectations stacked higher than your hours. Weariness has made your inner room noisy, not because I left it, but because your soul has been carrying more than I asked you to. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. I do not require you to be rested before I speak. I speak to bring you into rest. I do not wait for you to be perfect to guide you. I guide you back to breath. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. Psalm 23, verses 2 to 3. Let me restore you, and you will find that discernment, so elusive in exhaustion, returns like color to a face once drained. Today, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart against the gentleness you secretly crave. Hebrews 3:15. Do not say, if it is gentle, it must be weak. My gentleness is not weakness, it is mastery. It is the power to act without being dragged by fear. My peace is not passivity, it is authority exercised without anxiety. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. John 14:27. In that peace you will speak with clarity that does not apologize for truth. You will choose with integrity that does not mortgage tomorrow to appease today. And you will move with purpose that does not mistake adrenaline for anointing. I do not force you, I gently place before you an invitation. Lower the volume of the lesser voices by honoring the boundaries of your soul, one breath, one prayer, one honest question at a time. Ask me, what is true, what is loving, what is wise, and watch how I answer in ways that do not bully but build, do not flatter but free, do not corner you but open doors you could not see. I am not only rescuing you from a rash email, I am training your ear, refining your palate for truth, teaching you to tell the difference between the noise that drains you and the voice that restores you. We will speak next about the weariness you have named normal, the fog that makes everything sound the same. Do not fear that conversation. I come as a healer, not an accuser. For now, rest in this, my beloved child. Even in the swirl of workplace sound, I am near, I am clear, I am peace. My voice will not bully you. My voice will steady you. And as you let that steadiness govern your next step, you will find that you do not have to grasp for control to be safe. You only have to listen and follow and breathe. My beloved child, let me name with tenderness what you have been calling normal, so ordinary that you hardly question it anymore. I see you after the meeting, staring at the ceiling or the screen, replaying every sentence you spoke and each one you held back, rehearsing alternate scripts and scanning for the first hint of disapproval. I see your Sundays grow heavy by the afternoon, a quiet dread settling like a shadow as the week approaches, joy leaking while you count the hours until you must be on again. I see your chest tighten at the sound of a notification, the way your fingers tense before you even know what the message says, the way your breathing gets shallow as if your body expects a blow. I see how easily you conclude that you are replaceable, that your contribution is small, that you are always behind, that no matter how you pour out, the cup never looks full. I am not far from this ache. I am not indifferent to it. I am here, and I am speaking to you as one who knows you more intimately than you know yourself. Hear me. You are not failing because you are tired. You are human, and I restore what work has drained. Do you see how different that is from the verdict you have been carrying? You have been interpreting your fatigue as moral weakness, your slowness as incompetence, your need for rest as a liability. Yet I did not design you to live on the fumes of endless output. I designed you to move from the fuel of my presence. For it is written, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. You will find rest for your souls." Matthew 11:28-30. And again, he restores my soul. Psalm 23:3. Your exhaustion is not your identity, it is a signal. It is your soul waving a lantern in a storm, asking you to align with what is true before you take the next step. You have learned to mistake adrenaline for strength, to treat the jolt of urgency as proof of purpose, but that surge is a short-lived shelter. When it dissipates, it leaves you emptier than before. Alignment, my peace within you, my yoke upon you, my cadence governing you, does not drain you to prove you're valuable. It roots you so that your work flows from a deeper well. For it is written, "In returning and rest you shall be saved. In quietness and in trust shall be your strength." Isaiah 30:15. Return is not retreat. Rest is not failure. Quietness is not abandonment. They are a reorientation to the breath I gave you at the beginning, when I formed humanity from the dust and breathed into your nostrils the breath of life. Genesis 2:7. I am calling you back to breath because breath brings you back to me. Do not think that I am waiting for you to become flawless or composed before I draw near. I do not enter this conversation as an accuser, but as a healer. I do not force you. I gently place before you an invitation. Come as you are, tired, stretched, uncertain, and take my yoke upon you, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your soul. Matthew 11:29. My yoke does not suffocate, it steadies. A yoke is an instrument of shared pace. If you will join yourself to me, your stride will be set by my love, not by the loudest demand in your inbox. Your back does not need another load. Your heart needs a new rhythm. I will teach you this rhythm patiently, without shaming you for the years you've marched to another drum. Let us be honest about the messages that have trained your body to brace. If you slow down, you'll be replaced. If you say no, they'll find someone yeser. If you take a breath, you'll fall behind. These are not the voice of your shepherd. They are the voice of fear and the memory of disappointments you have not yet healed. For it is written, "The fear of man lays a snare." Proverbs 29:25. Snared you scramble, free you stand. My beloved child, hear me with clarity. You are not at the mercy of metrics or the tides of other people's urgency. Your worth does not tremble with their temperature. I am your keeper. I will never leave you, nor forsake you. Hebrews 13:5. And when I keep you, I do not keep you on the edge of collapse. I keep you in the center of my peace. I see the small negotiations you make against your own well-being, skipping the glass of water, avoiding the walk, silencing the prayer, because it seems easier to power through than to pause. But the pause is not punishment, it is provision. The breath is not selfish, it is sacred. If you will consent even now to one slow breath, with me, in through your nose, out through your mouth, and whisper within, "Here I am," you will have taken the first step out of the fog. This is not performance, this is permission. You do not have to numb your body to do my will. You do not have to harden your heart to be strong. Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Hebrews 3:15. Soften instead. Let the tenderness you resist become the strength you need. I know you worry that if you loosen your grip, everything will fall apart, but much of what you are holding together is not yours to hold. Come to me with the dread that creeps in on Sunday evenings. Bring me the after-meeting overthinking. Lay before me the tightness that rises with every chime. I will not belittle you for these. I will meet you in them. For it is written, He gives power to the faint, and to him who has no might he increases strength. They who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. Isaiah 40:29-31. Renewal is not a concept for another season. It is my present work in you when you choose to wait and breathe rather than rush and break. There is no condemnation in you discovering your limits. There is wisdom. There is no shame in you needing rest. There is design. There is no failure in you pausing to be restored. There is obedience. There is therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Romans 8:1. Do not call condemned what I call beloved. Do not label as laziness what I am naming as a wound in need of care. I bind up the brokenhearted, Isaiah 61:1. I bind up their wounds, Psalm 147:3. I do not ignore the fracture and ask you to sprint. I tend the fracture so that when you run without re-injury. Hear me. Now that the wound has been named, the decision in front of you is not a test of your worth or a referendum on your value. It is a moment of trust. Trust me with your pace. Trust me with your reputation. Trust me with the outcome you cannot yet see. Let peace, not panic, be the arbiter as you consider what to send, what to accept, what to decline, what to delay. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Colossians 3:15. This ruling is not passive, it is decisive. It guards you from bargains that sell your soul for a short-term win. It frees you to choose what keeps you whole. My beloved child, you are not failing because you are tired. You are human, and I restore what work has drained. Come to me. Breathe with me. Learn my rhythm. I will walk with you through your Mondays. I will stand with you in your meetings. I will quiet your heart when the notifications stack. I will teach you to move from rest, not to rest. And as you let me, you will find that the cursor no longer commands you. My peace does. The dread no longer defines your week. My presence does. The sense of being behind yields to the confidence of being led. Then, when you choose your next step, it will not be to earn love or secure worth, but because you trust the one who calls you. And in that trust, you will discover not only relief, but strength for the path ahead. My beloved child, you stand now at a simple doorway that holds great weight. Two paths lie within one decision. I do not force you, I gently place before you an invitation. One path is speed that saves face, quick and glittering, promising relief from discomfort and the illusion of control. The other is wisdom that saves you, calm and steady, asking for trust when your nerves want to run. Do not hear this as threat, but as truth spoken in love. Both paths are real, and both bear real fruit. Which will you choose? Let me name the first path so you can see it clearly. Rushing in the language of your soul is not merely moving fast. It is acting from fear. Fear of loss, fear of rejection, fear of being misunderstood. It is the impulse to secure an outcome by force, to proof your value before anyone asks, to preempt pain by seizing control. It is the anxious drive to end uncertainty, even at the cost of your integrity, your health, or your peace. Do you recognize it? Your breath tightens, your thoughts narrow, your words sharpen, your tone hardens or overperforms. You draft a sentence to manage perception, not to serve truth. You pick up the phone to corner a result, not to create understanding. For it is written, "Whoever believes will not be in haste." Isaiah 28:16. Haste camouflages itself as courage, but it is often unbelief in motion, unbelief that I am at work, that I will vindicate you, that I can open what you cannot. Consider Saul, pressed by the timeline and the eyes of his men, who forced himself to offer what was not his to offer, because waiting felt like losing, 1 Samuel 13:12. And hear the sober word that followed, "You have done foolishly," 1 Samuel 13:13. Speed that saves face can look strong in the moment, yet it cuts you off from the protection that only obedience provides. Or think of Peter swinging a sword in the panic of arrest, trying to keep a story alive by force, and I said, "Put your sword into its sheath." John 18:11. Do you see? Human haste often silences what heaven would say next. Now lift your eyes to the second path. Wisdom, in the language of my kingdom, is not the absence of action. It is obedience in right order. It may look slower to onlookers who worship urgency, but it is more precise, more protected, more fruitful. Wisdom listens before it speaks, chooses clarity over cleverness, and accepts being misunderstood, for a moment if that is the cost of remaining true. Wisdom keeps your soul intact while you move forward. Wisdom is not passive. It is power under my governance, for it is written, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. Proverbs 3:5-6. Straight paths are not built by frantic steps. They are formed by trusting steps. Watch David in the cave, blade within reach, opportunity crafted by circumstance, voices urging, seize it. Yet he refused to take by force what I had promised to give in time. 1 Samuel 24:4-6. That restraint looked weak to those who measure strength by speed. In heaven it rang as wisdom. And what was the fruit? Protection, integrity, a story that could be told without shame. My beloved child, wisdom protects you from victories that would cost you your soul to maintain. It saves you from promotions that fracture your health, from emails that harvest applause and sow distrust, from decisions that look efficient and grow regret. The wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits. James 3:17. When you walk this path, you are not shrinking, you are being led. Listen closely now. This decision is not only about your career, it is about which voice you will trust. Do you hear me? Success measured by saving face is a small god. It must be fed daily with speed and defended hourly with self-justification. Success born from wisdom is sustained by grace. Its fruit does not demand frantic upkeep. By their fruits you will recognize them. Matthew 7:16. Ask, what fruit does my next choice intend to grow? Peace or panic, clarity or confusion, reconciliation or control? I know the part of you that says, but if I do not act immediately, I will lose the moment. There are moments to act quickly, yes, but even holy urgency carries peace with it. It does not bulldoze your conscience or hollow your breath. The speed that saves face gasps. The pace of wisdom breathes. The first aims to impress, the second aims to be faithful. The first is ruled by optics, the second is governed by truth. For it is written, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Colossians 3:15. Peace is not a suggestion, it is an umpire. Let it call this play. Do not think I am shaming you for the times you chose the first path. I am your Father. I am your healer. I stand beside you, even as you stand at this fork, and I say, choose life. For it is written, I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Therefore choose life. Deuteronomy 30:19. That life is not merely breath in your lungs. It is alignment with me in this very choice. Choosing life in this email, this meeting, this offer, this silence. Choosing me over the fear of being misunderstood. Choosing truth over the need to be applauded. Choosing trust over the compulsion to control. How do you step onto the path of wisdom in real time? By the same doorway we have practiced. Pause, breathe, ask, listen, whisper, speak, Lord, and watch me tilt your heart toward a sentence you did not consider, a timing you would have missed, a tone that disarms rather than escalates. For it is written, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. Lamps do not flood the horizon, they illumine the next faithful step. You do not need to see every outcome, you need to hear the next instruction. Here is a signpost to help you choose. If your next action requires you to betray what you know to be true, abandon what keeps you healthy, or bury what your conscience is awakening, it is not my wisdom, no matter how efficient it appears. Conversely, if your next action requires courage that is clean, truth that is kind, boundaries that honor both you and others, then you are nearing the trail of life. Whatever does not proceed from faith is sin. Romans 14:23. Let your motion proceed from faith, not fear. I will be honest with you because I love you. When you choose the path of wisdom, there will be moments when the second voice rises louder, the one that hisses, "You are falling behind. They will forget you. You will regret this restraint." Not every thought that arrives in your mind is a messenger of truth. Not every urgency sprinting through your chest is sent by me. There is a battle unfolding, not among your co-workers first, but within the depths of your mind and soul. We do not wrestle against flesh and blood, Ephesians 6:12. And therefore you must learn to lead your thoughts with truth, to take every thought captive before it takes you, 2 Corinthians 10:5. We will speak of this battle next, but for now, mark this. The path you select today is paved in the headlines you allow inside. My beloved child, I know the cost of choosing wisdom when applause favors speed. I do not measure you by how quickly you can silence discomfort. I measure you by your trust. Do not think that I am distant from this fork in the road. I am near. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews 13:5. Today, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart against the gentle authority that is trying to save you from months of repair. Hebrews 3:15. Let me be your pace. Let me be your defender. Let me be the one who steadies your hand as you respond. Decline, accept, or wait. Stand with me at this juncture and consider face or soul, image or integrity, fear or faith. You may continue reacting as you have, and I will still love you, or you may choose responding with me, and I will lead you into the peace you have been craving. I am not late. I am not silent. I am your Father, your shepherd, your wisdom. Trust in me with all your heart. Refuse to lean on your own frantic understanding. Acknowledge me in this very choice, and I will make your path straight. Proverbs 3:5-6. Choose the way that saves you, and you will find that face follows where soul is kept. My beloved child, hear me with the clarity you have been asking for. The battle is in your mind, not first in the inbox, not first in the boardroom, but beneath your ribs where thoughts gather and choose a captain. I see the spiraling scenarios you run like rehearsals, catastrophic predictions that fast forward to the worst outcome, arguments you practice in your head to prove you are not small, the imagined rejections that arrive before you have even spoken. These are not harmless background noise. They set the tone of your email. They tilt the angle of your voice. They steer the timing of your reply. If you do not lead your thoughts with truth, your fear will lead your choices. For it is written, take every thought captive to obey Christ. 2 Corinthians 10:5. Do not mistake what I am saying. You are not merely wrestling with people or with policies. You live in a world where pressures are not only psychological but spiritual, where the adversary loves to exploit old wounds and current deadlines, where whispers of unworthiness and panic are aimed like barbs at the tender places of your mind. We do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places, Ephesians 6:12. Yet hear this assurance within the sober truth. I do not speak this to seed paranoia, but to awaken precision. You are not defenseless. You are not alone. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand. Ephesians 6:11. Let us name the patterns so you can seize them before they seize you. When your mind begins to write scripts about what they will think if you decline, call it what it is, a prediction, not a prophecy. When you rehearse cutting sentences to punish the one who wounded your pride, call it what it is, retaliation, not righteousness. When you feel the need to send an immediate reply to relieve your own dread, call it what it is, self-soothing through control, not faith. For it is written, be sober-minded, be watchful, 1 Peter 5:8. Sobriety begins when you rename what has been hiding under more flattering labels. Now, here is the practice I give you, a way to fight that does not require noise. Breathe, pray, confront, replace. First, breathe with me. Your breath is not a luxury. It is a weapon that calms the body so your spirit can take the lead. Inhale my name. Exhale your rush. Whisper, here I am. For it is written, you keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you, because he trusts in you. Isaiah 26:3. Second, pray simply and honestly. Speak, Lord, and bring the thought into the open light of my presence. You need not deliver a speech. A sincere sentence is sufficient. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving let your requests be made known, and the peace of God will guard your hearts and your minds. Philippians 4:6-7. Third, confront the anxious thought with truth. Ask, what do I know that God has said? Then answer with what is written. It is written, was my son's way in the wilderness. Matthew 4:4. So let it be yours. It is written, I am not given a spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. It is written, the fear of man is a snare. Proverbs 29:25. It is written, whoever believes will not be in haste. Isaiah 28:16. Fourth, replace the lie's momentum with a better meditation. Set your mind on what is true, honorable, just, pure, lovely, commendable. Philippians 4:8. This is not denial. This is discipline. I will give you guardrails for this very hour, boundaries of wisdom that keep you from handing fear the steering wheel. Do not reply while flooded. If your heart is racing, if your hands are trembling, if you are drafting to discharge adrenaline, step back. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Colossians 3:15. Let peace call time out. Do not decide while resentful. If your imagination is busy compiling evidence against someone, if your tone sharpens in your own head, wait until mercy has a voice. Let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. James 1:19. Do not commit while depleted. If you have not eaten, not slept, not prayed, not breathed, pause. Your yes is holy. Do not sell it for the price of exhaustion. Guard your heart above all else, for from it flow the springs of life. Proverbs 4:23. These are not rules to shame you. They are rails to save you. My beloved child, I know the feeling that says, if I pause, the moment will pass. But moments governed by panic compound into months of repair. Restraint in the flood is not cowardice. It is courage under command. Take the thought captive before it takes you. How? Speak to it with me. When the thought says, they will reject you if you are honest, answer, it is written, the Lord is my helper. I will not fear. What can man do to me? Hebrews 13:6. When the thought says, you must prove your worth by saying yes, answer, it is written, there is therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Romans 8:1. When the thought says, if you wait, you will lose, answer, it is written, those who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. Isaiah 40:31. Do you see? You are not arguing with shadows. You are aligning with truth. Put on the helmet of salvation over your thoughts, the belt of truth around your intentions, the breastplate of righteousness over your motives, the shield of faith to extinguish the flaming darts of accusation and panic, and take up the sword of the Spirit, which is my word, not your sarcasm. Ephesians 6:14-17. This armor is not imaginary. It is spiritual reality. When you choose to believe what I say over what fear predicts, you have lifted the shield. When you refuse to draft that cutting line, you have strapped on the breastplate. When you answer a lie with it is written, you have swung the sword. Remember, you are not your thoughts' prisoner. You are their steward. Not every thought that passes through your mind deserves a chair at your table. Some must be shown the door, Some must be invited to be examined. Be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Romans 12:2. Renewal is not a once-in-a-year retreat. It is a daily recalibration, a moment-by-moment returning of your inner gaze to me. Set your minds on things that are above, not on things that are on earth. Colossians 3:2. This does not mean you ignore your work. It means you anchor your work inside my reality, where your value is secured and your pace is governed by peace. Let me teach you a simple filter when a wave of thoughts surges. Is this thought true according to my word? Is this thought loving toward me, toward others, and toward yourself? Is this thought wise? Does it lead to good fruit? If it fails truth, love, or wisdom, it fails you. Release it. Replace it. For it is written, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. John 8:32. Freedom does not always feel like a rush. Often it feels like a clearing. The fog lifts, the breath returns, the shoulders lower. Today, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart by insisting that your spirals are sophistication or that your catastrophizing is caution. Hebrews 3:15. Receive my gentleness as training, not as insult. I do not force you. I gently place before you an invitation. Choose what you dwell on. When the what-ifs flood, turn them into even if they misunderstand me, I will not lie. Even if this costs me applause, I will keep my peace. Even if I must wait, I will not be in haste. That shift is warfare. That shift is worship. And know this, as you practice this mind discipline, I am not standing at a distance with a scorecard. I am beside you as a father, correcting with patience, strengthening with presence. I will never leave you, nor forsake you. Hebrews 13:5. My spirit within you is not jittery or brittle. He is steady, wise, and kind. I am not asking you to muscle your mind into silence. I am inviting you to yoke your mind to mine, to let my peace garrison your thoughts like a guard at the door. Philippians 4:7. When your mind is steadied, when truth, not terror, holds the reins, I will begin to rewrite what you believe about yourself at work. For decisions flow from identity, and identity misnamed breeds choices misaligned. You are not a machine to be used. You are my beloved, engraved on my hands. Isaiah 49:16. We will speak of this next, for when you know who you are, you will stop making decisions to earn what I have already given, and your work will become the place where peace governs and purpose shines. My beloved child, now that your thoughts are beginning to quiet under truth, come closer and let me write upon your heart what I have always known. You are not a machine to be used. You are mine to be loved. The workplace has trained your nervous system to believe that value is earned by speed, secured by applause, and kept by never disappointing anyone. Beneath the anxiety that wakes you at night and tightens your chest before you press send is a lie that has worn many names: professionalism, excellence, responsibility. But its core whisper is this: if I do not perform, I will be abandoned. If I do not please, I will lose love and security. I see how that lie has braided itself with your history, how approval once bought you a moment's safety, how your competence once held back chaos. I know you more intimately than you know yourself, and I am not ashamed to meet you here. Hear me. The economy of my kingdom is not wages for worth. It is love that gives before you earn, favor that rests before you act, identity bestowed before assignment. For it is written, there is therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Romans 8:1. Condemnation is not your supervisor. Shame is not your manager. Fear is not your mentor. And for it is written, behold, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Isaiah 49:16. Engraved, not penciled, held, not hired, claimed, not contracted. Let me speak with clarity that cuts chains. You are not disposable. You are not behind. You are not alone. You are mine. Do not think that I am waiting for you to become perfect before I say this. I speak it precisely because you are tired and tempted to trade your soul for acceptance. I do not enter your life as a judge, counting your late replies. I come as a father binding up what work has drained. I will never leave you, nor forsake you. Hebrews 13:5. Do you see? Your security is not a line item subject to budget cuts. It is a covenant sealed with my own life. You are precious in my eyes and honored, and I love you. Isaiah 43:4. And again, fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. Isaiah 43:1. I call you by name, not by output. You have measured your days by deliverables, because deliverables have been your defense against rejection. But I am not negotiating with your excellence to decide if you are worth keeping. I chose you before you could present a resume. We are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, that we should walk in them. Ephesians 2:10. Workmanship first, works second, identity first, activity second, belovedness first. Usefulness flows from it. Here is where the lie loses oxygen. Your worth is not on the line in this decision. You are not stepping onto a stage where one wrong sentence will delete your belonging. You are walking with me, and I have already secured what fear says is at risk. Success, in my eyes, is not frenzy that keeps you impressive. It is faithfulness that keeps you true. Success is not image you must polish. It is integrity you must guard. Success is not obsession with outcomes. It is obedience in this step. For it is written, "The Lord sees not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart." 1 Samuel 16:7. I see your motive. I honor your truthfulness. I protect your pace. My beloved child, listen for a moment like one who has come home after a long day. Lay down the armor of performance at the door and let me wash your feet. Your yes is holy because you are holy to me, not because you satisfy everyone. Your no is honorable when it is spoken from truth, not fear. When you know who you are, you stop making decisions to earn what I have already given. Say it with me until it sinks. I do not make choices to buy love. I choose from love already given. I do not fight to be seen. I move as one seen by God. I do not rush to avoid shame. I walk with the one who removed my shame. Consider the prodigal rehearsing his speech to bargain for a position as a hired servant. He imagined that proximity required performance, that the table required proof. Yet while he was still a long way off, the Father ran, embraced, and restored him before a single day of labor was offered. Luke 15:20-22. Do you see? Restoration preceded responsibility. Belovedness clothed him before usefulness resumed. This is not a story far away. It is your story in this inbox, in this meeting, in this offer. I run toward you, not because you have perfected your plan, but because you are mine. Now receive this liturgy into your bones. I am not a machine to be used. I am a child to be loved. I am not defined by my metrics. I am defined by His mercy. I am not on trial in this task. I am under grace in this moment. There is therefore now no condemnation. Romans 8:1. Engraved on His hands. Isaiah 49:16. Kept by His presence. Hebrews 13:5. Led by His peace. Colossians 3:15. Loved without fear. 1 John 4:18. From this identity, the shape of wisdom becomes clear. You will find yourself choosing emails that are honest over emails that are ornamental. You will send fewer explanations that beg to be loved and more responses that serve what is true. You will accept opportunities that align with purpose, not with panic. And you will decline invitations that flatter your insecurity but drain your soul. When someone misunderstands you, you will not contort into a brand to win them back. You will stand with gentleness, even if you must stand alone for a moment, because you are not alone. I am with you, for thou art with me. Psalm 23:4. I do not promise that everyone will celebrate this pace. Some will test your boundaries. Some will prefer the old you who performed without pausing. Yet even there you will not walk alone. I will defend what I birth in you. I will provide where you fear lack. I will uphold your head when opinions swirl. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Psalm 23:1. Your provision is not ultimately held in human hands. Your future is not fragile glass you must keep from falling. It is a story I am holding, and I do not drop what I love. So pause and let my naming settle. You are loved. You are chosen. You are kept. You are called by my name. You are not late to grace. You are right on time to mercy. And today, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart by returning to the old transaction where you sell yourself for security. Hebrews 3:15. I do not force you. I gently place before you an invitation. Decide from belovedness. Decide from rest. Decide with me. With your identity secured, the fog around the decision will begin to lift, and you will start to see beneath the surface of this workplace moment the currents of motives, the wisdom of timing, the hidden doors I have set that haste cannot find. I can protect you from what you cannot detect if you let me slow you. In the next breath, I will open your eyes to what you cannot yet see, so that you will not only choose well, but walk in a way that keeps your peace and guards your purpose. My beloved child, let me open what your eyes cannot, not to frighten you, but to free you. What sits before you on the screen appears simple, a request, an offer, a conflict, a deadline. But beneath the pixels live currents you cannot fully chart, office politics shifting like sand under the tide, miscommunications that began 3 meetings ago and now dress themselves as urgency, priorities realigned in a room you were not invited into, unspoken expectations that no one has named out loud but everyone seems to feel. There are histories between colleagues, hidden pressures from budgets and boards, personal fears they carry from their homes into the meeting, and yes, the adversary who delights to stir a little panic into a lot of noise. You cannot read all these layers in a subject line, but I can. For the Lord sees not as man sees. The Lord looks on the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. And again, do not pronounce judgment before the time. Then each one will receive his commendation from God. 1 Corinthians 4:5. Do you see? When your sight is partial, speed can become a snare. Hear me. I am not warning you to paralyze you with suspicion. I am guiding you because I love you. My counsel to slow is not a leash. It is a shelter while I light the path you cannot yet see. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. Lamps reveal enough for the next step, not the entire highway, and that is kindness. For it is written, whoever believes will not be in haste. Isaiah 28:16. Haste tries to compensate for mystery with motion. Wisdom receives mystery with trust. Consider Elisha's servant who woke to a horizon of enemies, heart pounding at the sight of horses and chariots surrounding the city. He cried out, "Alas, my master, what shall we do?" And Elisha answered, "Do not be afraid, for those who are with us are more than those who are with them." Then he prayed, "O Lord, please open his eyes that he may see." And you will remember what happened. The Lord opened the young man's eyes, and he saw the mountain full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. 2 Kings 6:16-17. My beloved child, the Slack channel may fill like a fast-approaching army. The thread may crowd with strong opinions. The calendar may feel like siege. But what you see is not all there is. I surround you. I send help you did not schedule. I station protection in places your map does not include. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him and delivers them. Psalm 34:7. Let this steady you. Encircled by anxiety is not the same as abandoned by me. Now let us name the unseen dynamics I see with perfect clarity, so you may walk with me instead of with panic. There are motives beneath proposals. Some are sincere collaborations. Some are quiet attempts to outsource responsibility. Some are tests of your boundaries disguised as compliments. All the ways of a man are pure in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the spirit. Proverbs 16:2. There are miscommunications that travel like a rumor in a crowded hallway. One sentence clipped, one tone misread, one assumption amplified, and the first voice you hear is not always the truest. The one who states his case first seems right until the other comes and examines him. Proverbs 18:17. There are shifting priorities you cannot predict. What is urgent at 9 o'clock may be irrelevant by 3 o'clock, because a decision above you has moved the ground beneath all of you. There are unspoken expectations formed by culture rather than clarity that punish slowness but reward reactivity, and yet reactivity will cost you a peace that I died to give you. So hear my timing. Not every opportunity is mine. Some open doors are trapdoors. Some urgent requests are simply another's anxiety knocking on your door, hoping to become your schedule. I have set before you an open door, which no one is able to shut. Revelation 3:8. Do you hear the difference? The doors I open do not require you to betray your integrity to enter. They do not demand that you abandon Sabbath or sever truth from kindness. The blessing I give enriches without adding sorrow as its hidden fee. Proverbs 10:22. If you have to lie to keep it, it is not from me. If you must rush past peace to grasp it, the door may be open, but not by my hand. And not every urgent request deserves your immediate yes. Urgency can be a tool of love when a true need calls. Urgency can also be a tactic of control when someone fears losing leverage. Test urgency by peace and fruit. If the request forces you to ignore your prior commitments or to override the wisdom we have been building, ask for space to listen. In returning and rest you shall be saved. In quietness and in trust shall be your strength. Isaiah 30:15. Return to me before you respond to them. It is not unloving to wait one beat longer than your fear demands. Not every conflict requires an immediate defense. There are accusations you must answer with clarity, and there are provocations you must entrust to me. Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest you be like him yourself. Proverbs 26:4. The Lord will fight for you, and you have only to be silent. Exodus 14:14. Silence is not surrender when it is offered to me. It is a shield I hold in front of you while I rearrange what you cannot. There are times when a soft answer will turn away wrath. Proverbs 15:1. And there are times when a timely pause will keep you from war you were never assigned to fight. Proverbs 25:8. Ask me for which is which. I delight to answer. Trust that I am at work in rooms you cannot enter, in calendars you cannot view, in minds you cannot persuade. I know the email that will arrive tomorrow reshaping the landscape. I know the leader whose heart will soften after a night's rest. I know the candidate who will accept the other offer, releasing the pressure that was making this decision feel impossible. I know the unseen host surrounding you with protection while you simply choose to remain honest. My times are in your hand. Psalm 31:15. And yes, your times at work also belong there. So how will you walk among these unseen dynamics without becoming suspicious or cynical? Stay with me inside the pace I give. Ask questions instead of assuming. Clarify what is actually being asked of you instead of rushing to fill in gaps with your own dread. If a message arrives hot, cool it with prayer before you touch it with your hands. If an offer flatters your insecurity, lay it on the table before me and let me weigh it. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding, and He will make straight your paths. Proverbs 3:5-6. Leaning on your own understanding means you try to compensate for what you cannot see by guessing faster. Trusting me means you acknowledge the edge of your sight and invite mine to lead. Hidden doors do not glow neon, they open to those who let me escort them. I will sometimes close a door you wanted to sprint through, not to punish you, but to pivot you to the one that was for you all along. Think of Paul restrained from entering certain regions until the vision of Macedonia redirected him to the open door that carried my assignment, Acts 16:6-10. Redirection is not rejection when it preserves your mission. I can protect you from what you cannot detect if you let me slow you down. My beloved child, today, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart by insisting that speed is safety. Hebrews 3:15. Safety is me. I know their motives. I know your own. I know the pressures above, beside, and within you. I know the chariots of fire encircling the place where you feel outnumbered. Let me be the keeper of timing. Let me be the judge of motives. Let me be the revealer of doors. Walk with me at the tempo of peace, and you will find that clarity grows not from more data, but from deeper dependence. And now, as you stand at this threshold, you need not master a complex method. You need only to turn this decision into a conversation instead of a panic. We will practice a simple posture, a whisper that opens the inner door and invites my guidance into the moment so I can lead you one step at a time. Whisper with a sincere heart, and I will answer. For it is written, "Speak, Lord, for your servant hears." 1 Samuel 3:10. My beloved child, let us practice now, not in theory, but in the very breath before you choose. You do not need a perfect prayer, you need an honest one. Do not think that I am waiting for eloquence. I am waiting for your openness. Place your attention here with me. Feel your shoulders loosen, let your breath lengthen, and simply say, "Lord, here I am." For it is written, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10. Stillness is not empty. Stillness is where you meet me. Samuel did not begin with expertise. He began with availability. As it is written, "Speak, Lord, for your servant hears." 1 Samuel 3:10. He did not yet understand every word. He postured his heart to listen. Take his words as your template in this workplace moment. Whisper it now, even under your breath, even in your mind. Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. In this whisper, you are not performing, you are aligning. In this whisper, you are not producing a result, you are presenting your heart. Now, as you remain with me, we will walk a slow, simple checklist, not as a burden, but as a light to your next step. Ask with me, is this aligned with truth, or is it built on managing an image? Does this request require you to compromise integrity, shade the facts, or violate a boundary we have established? Would your yes be an overflow of love or an attempt to outrun fear? Does what you sense from me produce peace that steadies you or turmoil that drives you? For it is written, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts." Colossians 3:15. Peace does not mean there are no costs. It means there is an anchor in your soul that does not thrash about with every wave. And again, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." John 10:27. My voice will not bully you. My voice will steady you. Ask further, am I clear about the next faithful step without striving to control all outcomes? Do I know enough to obey one small instruction, even if I cannot see the entire road? You do not need to hear everything, only the next faithful step. Let that sentence be your guardrail against the tyranny of total certainty. For it is written, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." Psalm 119, 105. A lamp illumines the next stone, not the entire mountain range. This is kindness. This is how I keep you close. If you lack wisdom at any point, ask me plainly. I do not shame those who ask. I delight to give. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach. James 1:5. Ask without bargaining. Ask as one beloved. Ask expecting that I answer in a way fitted to your moment, in scripture recalled to mind, in a quiet conviction that gathers across a few minutes, in a restraint that feels like a hand on your shoulder saying, "Wait." And your ears shall hear a word behind you, saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Isaiah 30:21. Now take a gentle, practical step with me. Open a blank note or a clean page. Yes, right here in the midst of your day. Write the decision you are considering in a single honest sentence. Under it, write, "Lord, as I understand your peace and truth right now, I intend to." Then finish the sentence with the simplest next faithful step. Do not write the whole plan. Write the one movement you can obey. Then set the pen down. Wait a few breaths. Notice what rises. Does peace deepen as you hold the sentence? Does anxiety flare because you are resisting truth or because you are stepping into courage? If turmoil spikes, ask me, where is the compromise hiding? If peace grows, hold it like a compass. For it is written, "Do not be anxious about anything, and the peace of God will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." Philippians 4:6-7. Now, draft your response, the email, the sentence for the meeting, the boundary for the call, without sending it. Let it sit open as a sacrifice laid upon the altar of my presence. Ask again, is there any embellishment here meant to secure approval rather than serve truth? Is there any omission here meant to protect my image instead of protect integrity? Remove what flatters insecurity. Keep what serves clarity and love. Then pause a final time and whisper, "Speak, Lord." If I nudge you to wait, trust that delay is deliverance. If I stir you to send, trust that obedience is your protection. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. John 14:27. Do not despise how ordinary this seems. I meet you in ordinary. I crown small obediences with great faithfulness. The more you practice this whisper, the more quickly you will recognize my cadence over the clamor. Today, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart by insisting on total visibility before you trust me. Hebrews 3:15. I know the parts you cannot see. I ask you to walk in the part I have lit. Remember, I do not force you. I place before you an invitation. If you will pause and pray as Samuel prayed, you will find that I am not far. My guidance will not shout over the noise. It will draw you beneath it, where the waters run clear. My beloved child, turn your decision into a conversation and your conversation into a step. Guidance that is not followed becomes noise again, but guidance that is obeyed becomes a path. As you move with me, no matter how small the step, I will make straight your paths. Proverbs 3:5-6. And when you have stepped, return and thank me, for I am teaching you to live at the tempo of peace. We will do this again tomorrow and the day after until listening is not a crisis measure, but the way you breathe at work. My beloved child, now hear me as I put courage into your waiting. Waiting in my hands is not weakness. Waiting is strength under control. Waiting is trust wearing shoes. Waiting is the holy refusal to be drafted by anxiety into a battle I have not asked you to fight. For it is written, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still." Exodus 14:14. Stillness in me is not passivity, it is precision. Stillness is not doing nothing. It is doing only what I have asked in this moment and leaving to me what belongs to me. And again, it is written, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119, 105. A lamp calls for a pace that honors light's reach, a few faithful steps at a time, so that you do not sprint into shadows that were never yours to navigate alone. I know the fear that rises when I ask you to wait. They will think I am slow, they will call me uncommitted, they will label me difficult. I will lose the moment, the credit, the opportunity. My beloved child, I am your defender, not your reputation's critic. For it is written, I have set before you an open door which no one is able to shut. Revelation 3:8. If I opened it, no rumor can close it. If I have not opened it, forcing it will only injure your peace. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in Him, and He will act. He will bring forth your righteousness as the light. Psalm 37:5-6. I do not need you to manage perceptions to keep you safe. I need you to walk with me at the tempo of truth. Let me make waiting practical, simple, and strong. Obedience in this hour may look like delaying your reply for one beat longer than your anxiety demands, so that your words are seeded with peace rather than panic. It may look like asking one clarifying question before you agree, so that you are serving truth rather than assumptions. For it is written, if one gives an answer before he hears, it is his folly and shame. Proverbs 18:13. It may look like requesting time. I want to honor this well. May I respond after I review the details? Not as a stall, but as stewardship. It may look like seeking counsel before you commit, because wisdom grows in community. Where there is no guidance, a people falls, but in an abundance of counselors there is safety. Proverbs 11:14. It may look like setting a boundary that protects integrity. I can do this by Friday without cutting corners. If Thursday is required, we will need to reduce scope. For it is written, let what you say be simply yes or no. Matthew 5:37. And often it will look like choosing a softer tone that turns away wrath rather than mirroring the heat you received. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Proverbs 15:1. Do you see? Waiting is not a vacuum. It is an active devotion to wisdom over impulse. Hear this with sober clarity. Restraint in the moment can save you from consequences you would spend months repairing. A reactive email can fracture a trust it will take a quarter to rebuild. A hasty yes can strap your schedule to a burden that will drain your joy and dull your witness. A defensive tone can escalate a tension into a conflict that soaks hours and wounds hearts. Today, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart by baptizing haste as heroism. Hebrews 3:15. Courage is not the loudest move. Courage is the truest move. Sometimes courage is the untweeted pause. Consider those who waited and found that waiting was weapon and wisdom. David stood in a cave with the opportunity to seize the throne by his own hand, yet he restrained himself and refused to wound Saul, choosing honor over haste. His integrity became his defense. 1 Samuel 24:4-7. Do you see how waiting kept his future from being stained by a shortcut? And consider your Lord, who stood before accusers and opened not his mouth. Isaiah 53:7. Not because he lacked answer, but because silence was obedience to the Father's plan. Waiting is not a failure to act. Waiting is acting only when the Father speaks. Waiting is warfare in the mind, and I train you for it. Your thoughts will surge, your adrenaline will preach a counterfeit gospel of immediacy, and the adversary will whisper, if you do not move now, you will lose control. But you never had control, you had stewardship. Take that thought captive before it takes you. For it is written, Take every thought captive to obey Christ. 2 Corinthians 10:5. And again, wait for the Lord. Be strong and let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord. Psalm 27:14. Strength here is not clenched teeth. It is open hands. Courage here is not bravado. It is trust. Let me speak into your workplace fears plainly. Waiting to reply does not make you incompetent. It makes you careful. Asking for time does not make you uncommitted. It makes you faithful to truth over theater. Seeking counsel does not make you dependent. It makes you wise. Setting a boundary does not make you difficult. It makes you honest about what is possible without violating integrity. Choosing a softer tone does not make you weak. It makes you a peacemaker. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Matthew 5:9. And if any voice within or around calls this posture laziness, let my promise answer it. In returning and rest you shall be saved. In quietness and in trust shall be your strength. Isaiah 30:15. I will defend the fruit of obedient restraint. You do not need to broadcast your motives. I weigh them. You do not need to manipulate outcomes. I shepherd them. You do not need to chase credit. I see in secret and reward openly in my time. Matthew 6:4. Trust that when you choose the slower, truer step, I am setting chariots in motion you cannot yet see, aligning calendars you do not control, and softening hearts you cannot reach. The Lord will fight for you. Exodus 14:14. Let that sentence become a shield when fear tries to conscript your fingers to hit send too soon. There will be moments when waiting is not only about how you respond, but about where you are headed. Sometimes the pause I ask of you is a pivot. A delay may be my mercy revealing that a project is misaligned with your purpose. A nudge to seek counsel may uncover that a role is reshaping into something that will starve your soul. A quiet, repeated restraint may signal that I am preparing you not to sprint harder in the same lane, but to turn into another path entirely. I do not tease you with uncertainty. I shepherd you with timing, for it is written, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. Psalm 32:8. When I redirect, it will not be to shrink you into fear, but to strengthen you into clarity. The lamp that slows your steps is the same lamp that points to a different road when the moment comes. So, my beloved child, embrace courageous restraint as an act of worship. Pause before you press send. Ask one clarifying question. Request a measured window to respond. Seek counsel where pride would prefer speed. Set a boundary where flattery would blur lines. Choose a softer tone where heat would demand heat. Then place it all in my hands and let peace rule. For it is written, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Colossians 3:15. I do not force you. I gently place before you an invitation. Choose the pace of peace. Choose the lamp over the spotlight. Choose the stillness that lets me fight for you. And as you choose it, listen for what my peace reveals in the pause. Is this restraint simply for this message? Or is it the first note of a new melody I am composing for your work? Do not fear the answer. I am with you in the moment and on the road beyond it. Whoever believes will not be in haste. Isaiah 28:16. Today, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart by returning to hurry. Open the inner door and let me lead. I will not waste your waiting. I will redeem it into wisdom, protect you from avoidable repair, and when the time is full, I will say, now, and you will move, not from fear, but from the courage that waiting has made strong. My beloved child, you are asking me plainly, is this me redirecting you, or is this merely fear trying to dress itself as wisdom? Hear me with the gentleness and gravity you need, because I am not the author of confusion, and I will not toy with your heart. For it is written, God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. My guidance does not shrink you into panic. It strengthens you into clarity. Do you see? Fear will crowd you. I will steady you. Fear will bully. I will bless. Fear will demand an answer that spares your image. I will invite an answer that guards your integrity. Let me hand you markers you can hold when the air feels thick and your thoughts begin to race. First, check the root. What voice is at the source of this impulse? Is it accusation, shame, and the dread that you must prove your worth, or you will be discarded? That is not my voice, for it is written, "There is therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus." Romans 8:1. Accusation seeks to drive you. I seek to draw you. My redirection may convict, but it will not condemn. It may prune, but it will not poison. It will come with the fragrance of love even when it asks for courage. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. John 10:27. My voice carries recognition and relationship, not harassment. Second, discern the tone. Fear shouts in absolutes, now or never, all or nothing. Fix it or you will be forgotten. My spirit speaks with authority, but not with terror. My word can be urgent, but it is never frantic, for it is written, "Whoever believes will not be in haste." Isaiah 28:16. If haste is the only fuel keeping your decision alive, let it slow under the weight of my peace. And again, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Colossians 3:15. Peace does not mean ease, it means order. Peace does not mean the absence of cost. It means the presence of an anchor. Third, examine the trajectory. Where does this step lead if you take it faithfully? Does it drive you into secrecy, image management, and isolation, or does it move you toward greater light, honesty, and communion? For it is written, "Whoever does what is true comes to the light." John 3:21. My redirection may narrow your lane, but it will expand your heart. It may reduce your exposure, but it will increase your integrity. It may ask you to leave a stage, but it will give you back your soul. The path of the righteous is like the light of dawn, which shines brighter and brighter until full day. Proverbs 4:18. Fear grows smaller circles around you. My leading widens the light before you. Fourth, test the counsel and the fruit. Do those who walk in wisdom hear your plan and sense light, or do they hear it and feel the chill of avoidance? Wisdom from above is not a riddle. It has a flavor you can taste, for it is written, "The wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits." James 3:17. And again, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Galatians 5:22-23. Fear yields a harvest of defensiveness, irritability, secrecy, contempt for others, and the restless need to explain yourself. My redirection yields a quiet willingness to be transparent, a patience that outlasts opinion storms, and a renewed kindness toward those you once resented. By their fruits you will know them. Matthew 7:16. Fruit over flash, child. The right choice may not dazzle in the moment. It will bear peace, clarity, and integrity over time. Let us confront a subtle disguise. Fear often masquerades as prudence by promising relief without growth. It whispers, "If you leave now, you will never have to face this hard conversation. Confess this mistake, honor this boundary, bless this enemy." My redirection will never employ cowardice as a guide. If I lead you to step away, I will also lead you to finish with honor. Clear handoffs, honest reasons, blessing for those you leave, and accountability for what belongs to you. If I lead you to stay, I will not keep you in bondage. I will equip you to speak truth in love, to refuse manipulations, to work with clean hands and a quiet heart. Speak the truth in love, Ephesians 4:15. Watch for this signature. Fear always negotiates with integrity. My leading never does. Ask yourself with me, am I choosing this because I am running from discomfort or because I am running toward obedience? Am I hiding or am I stepping into the light? Am I preserving my image or am I preserving my soul? When you ask, do not interrogate yourself alone. Invite me to search you, for it is written, "Search me, O God, and know my heart, and lead me in the way everlasting." Psalm 139:23-24. I will show you where fear sits on the throne, and I will unseat it with perfect love. Perfect love casts out fear, 1 John 4:18. Love does not coddle avoidance. Love empowers courage. Now hear a gentle practice to separate redirection from fear. After you have paused with me, write 2 simple sentences as if they were roads. If I stay/step forward, the likely fruit within me will be. If I step away/pivot, the likely fruit within me will be. Be honest about the fruit you foresee, not only outcomes on paper, but the inner harvest. Peace or panic, tenderness or cynicism, humility or pride. Hold those sentences before me. Which one carries the feel of power, love, and a sound mind? 2 Timothy 1:7. Which one invites you to be more fully human, truthful, patient, merciful, rather than a managed image stretched thin by fear? Let peace and fruit expose the difference. Do not choose for dopamine, choose for endurance. And remember this, clarity often comes in layers. Do not despise the first layer because it does not answer the 10th question. I speak lamp by lamp, step by step, so that you remain near. For it is written, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. If after prayer and counsel, you sense a steady, non-bullying conviction to stay and speak with truth, then stay and speak. If you sense a persistent, peace-laced redirection to release this role or say no to this project, then release it without theatrics and let me defend your future. If you sense that the next step is simply to wait one more day for clarity, then wait and guard your heart from imagined catastrophes. Whether the path is stay, speak, or step away, I will not abandon you in the valley of uncertainty. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Psalm 23:4. And again, I will never leave you, nor forsake you. Hebrews 13:5. My beloved child, lift your eyes from the scoreboard of others' opinions and place them on me. I am your pace. I am your counsel. I am your protection. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. Psalm 32:8. Today, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart by letting fear play God. Hebrews 3:15. Surrender your timeline. Offer me your reputation. Ask for wisdom, receive peace, and take the next faithful step. Your ears shall hear a word behind you, saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Isaiah 30:21. And as you walk, watch the fruit ripen, quietly, steadily, truly, until even you must confess, this was not panic, this was peace leading me into clarity. My beloved child, you have listened, you have tested, you have weighed peace and fruit. Now your heart whispers a sober question. What if the faithful step leads me into a hard place? Hear me with the weight of love you need. I do not lead you to abandon you. I guide and I stay. For it is written, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Psalm 23:4. And again, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews 13:5. The valley is not evidence of my absence. It is the place where my nearness becomes your strength. I see the stakes exactly as they are and not as theories on a page. I see the numbers on your paycheck and the dates circled on your calendar. I see the rent due, the mortgage payment, the children's needs, the pressure of family expectations that say, keep the title even if your soul grows thin. I see the immigration paperwork and the clock that will not stop while you wait for approval. I see the health concerns, the fatigue that fogs your mornings, the therapy appointment you are afraid to cancel because it has become your lifeline. I see your reputation at work, the way one decision could alter how you are spoken of in rooms you do not enter. I see the long-term trajectory you have been building, and I know how a pivot can feel like erasing years. Do not accuse me of minimizing these weights. I know them more intimately than you can measure, and I am not indifferent to any of them. Your Father knows what you need before you ask Him. Matthew 6:8. Yet hear my promise inside these pressures. When I ask you to step, even if the step passes through the valley, my presence will be your stability. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you walk through fire, you shall not be burned. Isaiah 43:2. I do not promise a path without discomfort. I promise company that conquers despair. I do not guarantee that every onlooker will applaud. I guarantee that your hand will not slip from mine. I hold you when your voice trembles in the meeting, when your email is misunderstood, when your family questions your choice, when the waiting period stretches longer than you hoped. Fear not, for I am with you. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Isaiah 41:10. Do not think that I am waiting for you to become perfect before I walk beside you. You may obey with shaking knees. You may speak with a voice softer than you wish. You may not see 3 steps ahead. Yet you are not less held, not less loved, not less guided. For it is written, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. And again, a bruised reed he will not break, and a faintly burning wick he will not quench. Isaiah 42:3. I do not despise you for trembling. I steady you while you take the next faithful step. If you stumble, I lift you. If you misread a moment, I redirect you. The steps of a man are established by the Lord. Though he fall, he shall not be cast headlong, for the Lord upholds his hand. Psalm 37:23-24. I am not a critic from the sidelines. I am the shepherd beside you. You worry, if I obey, will I lose what we need? Hear me answer with covenant certainty. Seek me first, and I will care for what you cannot control. For it is written, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. Matthew 6:33. Consider the ravens. They neither sow nor reap, yet I feed them. How much more will I care for you? Luke 12:24. Provision in a valley may not look like surplus. Often it looks like sufficiency with beauty added, manna for this day, favor for this task, an unexpected ally, a door you could not have engineered. I will not abandon you to scramble alone. I will teach you to ask, to receive, to steward, to rest. I will keep your soul from scarcity, even when your circumstances narrow. Look at those who walked through valleys and found me already there. The 3 in the furnace were not kept from the fire, but there was one like a son of the gods walking with them in the midst. Daniel 3:25. Joseph passed through betrayal and prison before he held authority that preserved many lives, and he bore witness, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. Genesis 50:20. Elisha's servant woke terrified until his eyes were opened to see the mountain full of horses and chariots of fire all around. 2 Kings 6:17. Do you see? Your valley is not empty. Your valley is populated with my presence, my angels, my purposes that cannot be cut short by the plots of people. Let us make this plain in your work. If your obedience means turning down the deal that promises quick money but requires crooked math, I will meet you with integrity's peace and provision you cannot forecast. If your obedience means staying to finish honorably when your flesh wants to flee unnoticed, I will meet you with stamina you do not possess on your own. If your obedience means saying yes to correction you would rather defend against, I will meet you with a dignity that shame cannot counterfeit. If your obedience costs you speed, I will give you a pace that saves your soul. Today, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart by bargaining with fear. Hebrews 3:15. Soft hearts learn my roads faster than clever minds. I will also teach you valley practices so that you are sustained. Receive daily bread rather than demanding annual certainty. Pray shorter, truer prayers more often, rather than waiting for an hour you do not have. Let Scripture be your oxygen, one verse held, repeated, believed. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. Keep sharing your burdens with wise counselors. Let the abundance of counsel be your safety net. Proverbs 11:14. Sleep when it is time to sleep. Eat what strengthens and does not numb. Tell the truth gently and promptly so that anxiety does not multiply in the dark. This is how we walk through a valley together with courage that looks like quiet faithfulness. And child, hear this with tender precision. I care for your name. You fear the whisper network, the sideways glances, the thin smiles. Entrust me with your reputation. I will vindicate you in my timing, or I will teach you how to live joyfully without the vindication you thought you needed. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will act. He will bring forth your righteousness as the light. Psalm 37:5-6. I am not late, I am exact. I am shaping you as much as I am situating you. Lift your eyes now, just enough to see beyond survival, because I did not design your career merely to drain you. I designed it to form you and to bless others through you. The valley will not be wasted. It will produce a tenderness in you that can hold others when they tremble, a wisdom that refuses shortcuts, a courage that walks at the speed of love. For it is written, we are His workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works. Ephesians 2:10. And again, you are the light of the world. Let your light shine before others. Matthew 5:14-16. I am not only saving you from burnout, I am shaping you into light at work. I do not force you. I gently place before you an invitation. Take my hand and walk this valley with me. Whisper, even now, speak, Lord, and then take the next faithful step. When you cannot see far, borrow my words. Even though I walk, you are with me. Psalm 23:4. When shame hisses, answer it with my promise. I will never leave you, nor forsake you. Hebrews 13:5. And when you feel your courage thinning, remember the truth that steadies all your choices. Even if the decision leads through a hard place, my presence will be your stability. My beloved child, lift your eyes with me now from the brink of reaction to the horizon of purpose, because I am not only saving you from burnout, I am shaping you into light at work. I have not drawn you back from the cliff merely to set you in a cave. I lead you to a lampstand, for it is written, you are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father. Matthew 5:14-16. And again, we are His workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand, that we should walk in them. Ephesians 2:10. Do you see? Your career is not merely a ladder. It is a place where I form you and shine through you. I have been guarding your pace so that fear does not script your choices. Now I am tuning your heart so that love scripts your labor. Light is not a speech you give once. Light is a life you live daily. Integrity in the silent calculations. Excellence when no one is watching. Peace that refuses to be purchased by pretense. Light does not bully the room. It steadies the room. Light does not demand attention. It makes attention safe. When you walk in my way, your presence becomes a quiet invitation. This is how work can look when fear is not on the throne. Let me tell you what I am making within you, because the workplace is not separate from your sanctification. It is one of my primary classrooms. In pressure, I am forming character, a steel that is also kind, a firmness that does not slip into hardness. In promotion, I am growing humility, eyes that look out for others, hands that lift without keeping score, a heart that remembers who opens doors. In conflict, I am forging courage, the ability to speak truth in love without rehearsing revenge, to bless when insulted, to correct without contempt. In process, I am teaching patience, the long obedience of doing today's faithful work, receiving today's limited visibility, and trusting me with tomorrow's fruit. For it is written, "Work heartily, as for the Lord, and not for men." Colossians 3:23. And again, "Do all things without grumbling, that you may be blameless and innocent, among whom you shine as lights in the world." Philippians 2:14-15. The spreadsheet, the code review, the sales call, the budget meeting. These are altars where trust is offered, where love takes shape in decisions that seem small but speak volumes. Hear me as I protect you from a counterfeit. I am sending you as light into your workplace, but I am not asking you to become a sacrifice on the altar of endless demands. Your body is not disposable. Your soul is not a fuel tank for others' urgency. For it is written, "The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath." Mark 2:27. And again, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself." Mark 12:31. Not instead of yourself. Rest is not a luxury. Rest is a testimony that I am God and you are not. Boundaries are not a barrier to mission. They are the trellis on which fruit grows. When you protect what is human in you, you protect what is holy in your witness. Let me show you how light looks at work. Light signs the contract only when the numbers are honest, even if it costs applause, because a false balance is an abomination to the Lord. Proverbs 11:1. Light returns the call with gentleness after receiving heat, because a soft answer turns away wrath. Proverbs 15:1. Light champions the quiet contributor in the meeting and attributes credit accurately, sowing honor into the soil. Light keeps confidences, refuses gossip, and declines to build alliances with contempt. Light asks of every task, not, "How do I win this moment?" but, "How do I serve truth and people here?" This is how your integrity becomes shelter for the anxious. Your excellence opens ears that once distrusted, and your peace breaks the contagion of panic that sprints through teams. Consider the witnesses who carried light in places that did not always welcome it. Daniel worked with excellence in a foreign court, distinguishing himself by integrity, and the lions' mouths closed. Daniel 6:3-22. Esther stepped into a perilous meeting with courage rooted in fasting and wisdom, and a people were preserved. Esther 4:16. Joseph stewarded skill and favor in obscurity and in prominence, allowing pain to prepare him for a purpose that fed many. Genesis 50:20. Do you see the pattern? Not escape from work, but presence within work. Not self-salvation by grind, but salvation through obedience. I am shaping you in their lineage, not to mimic their stage, but to mirror their trust. You ask, what does this look like on Monday at 9 a.m. when deadlines stack and tempers fray? It looks like this. You arrive inside your body and invite me to rule your tone. You set one clear yes and one brave no to guard integrity. You choose one person to encourage with a sentence that costs you 10 seconds but gives them a day. You craft one artifact, a brief, a line of code, a slide that bears the mark of care rather than hurry. You pause before responding to manipulation and answer with a boundary that holds both truth and kindness. You pray, even under your breath, let my words be few and full. Let my steps be clean and steady, light, child, simple, daily, bright. I know how often you have framed your career as ascent, as if value lived at the top of a ladder. But ladders can be lonely, and height does not equal health. I am reframing your path as a field to tend, a house to build, a table to set, a lampstand to lift. You are not climbing to prove that you are enough. You are cultivating because you already are mine. For it is written, "There is therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus." Romans 8:1. When shame is not driving you, excellence becomes worship instead of weapon. Success becomes stewardship instead of identity. Let us make this unmistakably practical and tender. Your outward focus must not erase you. Do not say yes to ministry that makes you a stranger to the ones I have given you to love at home. Do not call exploitation calling because it flatters your need to be needed. My mission through you will require margins for prayer, rest, laughter, and quiet study. In returning and rest you shall be saved. In quietness and in trust shall be your strength. Isaiah 30:15. Believe me, the light that endures is the light that is fueled by presence, not by adrenaline. My beloved child, I do not force you. I gently place before you an invitation. Open the inner door again and let me define success where you stand. Ask of every project, every offer, every meeting, will this choice let my light be seen, integrity kept, excellence offered, peace preserved? Today, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart by sprinting past the lamp I have placed at your feet. Hebrews 3:15, Psalm 119:105. Pause with me, let peace rule, and then work heartily as unto me. This is how your tasks become testimonies and your desk becomes an altar where ordinary moments are made holy. And because I care for your next step as much as for your lifelong story, I will make this path simple. In a moment, I will place in your hands a gentle ritual for emails, offers, meetings, and hard conversations. A way to pause, to listen, to weigh fruit, to set boundaries, and then to act with courage that carries peace. Do not be afraid of its smallness. I write greatness in small lines. Whisper now, speak, Lord. I am listening. Then hold your hand over the keyboard, over the calendar, over the phone, and let the light I have placed within you lead the way I have set before you. I am with you, and I will shine through you. My beloved child, draw near and let us make this simple, repeatable, and strong. You do not need 1,000 rules. You need a way to be with me in the next 90 seconds, so that your soul is not spent to win a moment. I give you a gentle ritual to carry into emails, offers, meetings, and hard conversations, a doorway you can open at any threshold, a lamp you can lift when speed tries to blind you. For it is written, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." Psalm 119:105. A lamp does not flood the city, it illumines the next step. Let me teach you the next right step. First, stop, wherever you are. Cursor hovering over send, phone buzzing, calendar alert pulsing. Halt for one breath longer than your fear permits. Pause not as procrastination, but as protection. Place your feet on the ground if you can. Unclench your jaw. Drop your shoulders. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Breathe in slowly to the count of 4. Hold for 2. Exhale to the count of 6. Again, let your breath testify that you are not a machine. You are mine. Second, place your hand over your heart and remember whose you are. Whisper, even if only inside, Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. 1 Samuel 3:10. Invite my peace on purpose. Say, Prince of Peace, rule in me. Colossians 3:15. For it is written, do not be anxious about anything, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds. Philippians 4:6-7. Let my peace become the guard at the gate, before your words go out to guard or wound another. Third, ask 3 simple questions with me. What is true? What is mine? What can wait? Truth, so you are anchored. Responsibility, so you are faithful. Timing, so you are free from frenzy. If the answer is unclear, ask me for wisdom, for it is written, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, and it will be given him. James 1:5. Do not interrogate yourself with shame. Inquire with me as your companion. Fourth, listen for the sound of my voice. Not bullying, not breathless, not bargaining. My voice steadies you into clarity. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. John 10:27. If peace rises like a low, solid tide, move with it. If confusion shouts, pause again, or ask for time. You may say, I want to honor this well. May I reply after I review? This is not avoidance, it is stewardship. Whoever believes will not be in haste. Isaiah 28:16. Fifth, take the next faithful step, only the next one, not the 10th, not the whole future, just the step today's lamp reveals. For emails, your step may be to soften the tone, to remove the sentence that exists only to prove you right, to add one clarifying question, or to wait until your heart is quiet. For offers, your step may be to list the costs and the fruit, to seek counsel before you say yes or no, or to request written details so truth can be tested. Where there is no guidance, a people falls, but in an abundance of counselors, there is safety. Proverbs 11:14. For meetings, your step may be to prepare one honest point and one honoring posture. I will tell the truth, and I will keep dignity for all. For hard conversations, your step may be to begin with confession where it is yours, to name the issue without accusation, to set a boundary without threats, to bless without manipulation. Let what you say be simply yes or no. Matthew 5:37. As you move, let me give you decision prompts that will guard you from fear's theater and guide you into wisdom's path. Do not answer to prove yourself. Answer with truth. Do not react to be safe. Respond with wisdom. Do not hurry to keep applause. Walk to keep integrity. Do not speak to dominate. Speak to illuminate. Do not choose for image. Choose for fruit. Do not hide to avoid discomfort. Stand to love well. Do you see? These are not slogans. They are rails to carry you through the turn without injury. Remember, I do not force you. I gently place before you an invitation. Today, in this very moment, you may rush as you always have, or you may choose to be led by me. Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Hebrews 3:15. Choose whose voice will be your pace. Choose whose peace will be your guard. Choose whose outcome will be your goal. Life and death lie in these small hinges. Emails, replies, yeses, nos, because these hinges swing doors that open to paths. I have set before you life and death, therefore choose life. Deuteronomy 30:19. Choosing life looks like pausing with me until truth becomes your motive and peace becomes your engine. Let me show you how this looks in scenes you know. The email arrives cutting and unfair. You stop, hand over heart, breathe. Speak, Lord. I remind you, a soft answer turns away wrath. Proverbs 15:1. You remove the jab and keep the clarity. You ask, can you help me understand the timeline? You press send, not to defend an ego, but to serve truth. Peace remains. The offer appears dazzling, rich with flattery. You stop, breathe. Search me, O God, Psalm 139:23. I surface the line item that compromises integrity. You request time, seek counsel, and decide with a sound mind. Joy remains. The meeting is hot, faces tight. You stop at the door, breathe. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable. Psalm 19:14. In the meeting, you speak once with light, then listen twice with love. Dignity remains. The hard conversation looms. You stop. Breathe. Set a guard, O Lord, over my mouth. Psalm 141:3. You own your part without self-disgust. You name the issue without contempt. You bless even as you set a boundary. Hope remains. Do not fear missteps. I am not brittle with you. If you err, I will correct you gently and quickly. Rod and staff to comfort, not to crush. Psalm 23:4. If you speak too soon, I will teach you to pause. If you wait too long, I will nudge you to move. If you choose with limited light, I will add more light. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. Psalm 32:8. I am a father, not a fault finder. I train you as one I love. Those whom the Lord loves, he disciplines. Hebrews 12:6. Discipline here is not disgrace. It is guidance back to the path. And hear this assurance as a banner over all your steps. I will provide what obedience requires. Do not make provision the condition of obedience. Make obedience the conduit of provision. For it is written, my God will supply every need of yours according to his riches and glory in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:19. And again, the Lord will guide you continually, and you shall be like a watered garden. Isaiah 58:11. If the faithful step needs courage, I will give courage. If it needs words, I will give words. If it needs allies, I will send allies. If it needs patience, I will deepen your roots. If it needs a door, I will open it. If it needs a wall, I will raise it. Trust my portion for the day you are in. So carry this ritual where you go. Stop, breathe, hand over heart, whisper, speak, Lord, invite peace, ask what is true, what is yours, what can wait, then take the next faithful step, not theater, faithfulness, not panic, peace, not self-salvation, surrender. If you will pause with me, you will move forward with peace, and your decision will not cost you your soul. I am with you in the draft and in the delivery, in the boardroom and in the hallway, in the offer and in the no thank you, in the apology and in the boundary. Your ears shall hear a word behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. Isaiah 30:21. My beloved child, remain in this word. Return to it when the cursor blinks, when the phone lights, when the calendar rings. Share it with those who stand on their own thresholds and need a hand to steady theirs. Walk with me beyond this moment, and because I intend to keep speaking peace to you in the days ahead, stay close to this stream. Subscribe, turn on the bell, not as a marketing trick, but as a small way to remember that I am near and that we are walking together. Thank you for listening with a soft heart. Today, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart. Open the inner door, pause with me, and take the next faithful step. I will meet you there, and I will lead you on.